we were talking earlier on about De Zerbi going in against Liverpool, Brighton at the weekend, and before he did, he said, maybe the owners and I need to talk. Maybe I need to have a chat with Tony Bloom. And that, you would think, alludes to, where is the ambition? Are they as ambitious as me? That's a kind of theme of what he was saying. And now we hear that De Zerbi is maybe not at the top of, but is one of those being considered by Bayern Munich. But would you have a warning sign in your mind by what De Zerbi said pre-Anfield at the weekend regards Brighton's Tony Bloom and Paul Barber?
I think one thing that it's guaranteed at Brighton is Paul Barber and Tony Bloom will have De Zerbi's, have a list of who's going to replace De Zerbi when it comes. That's what they will have. That's for sure.
They're ready for his departure already.
I'm not saying that they're ready for him to depart, but when that time comes, as soon as they were doing well in the league last year, qualify for Europe, they'll know that someone's going to come for him. So they'll have that person lined up, or 2 or 3 to go and speak to. De Zerbi, it looks like and it feels like, which what happens in football, the manager does well, power comes with them. So I always think when a manager joins you, if it's in the summer, you're all on the same page for that transfer window. You'll all be on the same page for the January transfer window. If at the end of that season there's a promotion or a qualify for Europe like Brighton, or you keep a team in the Premier League, which is a wonderful job, suddenly their ego changes. They want to come off the page of where we are because they feel that they've done well and the power can be with them. You wonder, are De Zerbi's comments a little bit of that?
I said that earlier. Get back in your box.
Look what I've done for you. Come on, I'll now decide who we sign, and I'm gonna have more of an input. And I know Paul Barber, to say hello and dealt with him. He's a lovely guy, top operator. I don't know the owner of Tony Bloom, but from what I'm seeing, I think there'll be one winner, and that winner could be, no, this is how we work, and they're going to stick to it because that's why they've run so well. Or someone will come and take him, a Chelsea, a Liverpool thing, and they'll go and get a massive compensation again. So the way they run it there is really, really, really well. It hasn't been like that since they've been in there, which I think some people think it has been. I was looking at some of the league tables not so long ago. And we look at
where Brighton have come from.
It's
unbelievable.
I think it was only 4 or 5 years ago Cardiff got relegated. Finished 3rd from bottom, and Brighton were only 3 points above them. So and now you look at the difference in the two clubs. That's how it can be, but that's planning. That's having things in place,
Their
and that is also not coming off the page.
I suppose from your point of view, sporting director, technical director, working for a club like Brighton would be the perfect job.
Because there's
you know exactly what you're getting into.
They take the emotion out of it, Jim.
Yes.
This game's as emotional as it is.
I had an ex-goalie contact me the other day who's been doing a bit of work non-league, and he said, where would you go to work in, coaching, loans manager? Brighton. Says the only club I'd want to go to. Go and be the loans manager at Brighton and work your way up. Because I think that club, as they keep losing so many top people, you could ascend very quickly.
You can move up the ladder because they, like you say, people come and Chelsea, as I mentioned earlier, Todd Bowley should have bought Brighton. Instead of buying Chelsea because he wants to go and take people from there. But
that's right.
They run they're not the only club. There's many clubs like that. There's Brentford that are similar, and obviously both owners come from a similar background. But then there's other clubs, Jim, that Palace. Look at Crystal Palace. They beat Watford in 2012-13 in the playoff final. They've been in the Premier League ever since.
Sure thing.
They've now got 3. When everyone's fit, they've got 3 regular players in an England squad.
Brilliant.
What Dougie Freeman's done there is phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Look, if you end up sporting director or whatever the title, a club like Everton, for example, and we know what's been going on there. I used to speak to him a lot. I hardly speak to him at all now, Farhad Mashiri. But do you envisage a time there in your role that you would have to say to Mashiri, no, because of FFP, we're absolutely bang up against it, so you can't. Can you tell an owner that? No, you just can't.
I don't. I feel a little bit.
I mean.
I feel a little bit for the owner at Everton, and and Everton fans listening might not agree with this, but when an owner isn't present, and when I say present, they're day in day out, like Mashiri probably isn't. He's got a sporting director. He's going to have a manager. I need just one more. He's got representatives that might be advising him. Just do one more. Ultimately, at the clubs I've worked at, and Darryl will tell me if Peterborough's the same, the owner doesn't go and sign on the dotted line, sign off on the paperwork. So these football clubs have CEOs and they have financial directors that know where they are on FFP. Now, don't get me wrong, the people at Everton might have been saying to the owner, we can't do it. And he says, tough, we're doing it. Okay. But ultimately, I do think owners do come in for some unfair stick because they are just be seen to support the manager, go and sign this player.
Yeah.
Ultimately, they don't sign the paperwork.
You say that, Luke, but if Moshiri had said to you, no, I'm pressing on and I'm going to bring Rafa Benitez to Everton, would you have said, well, on you go then? Or would you have said, I don't think it's a good idea?
I wouldn't have said I wouldn't have thought it's a good idea because I've had my own opinions, but I think it goes back to what we spoke at the beginning of the show. You've got to tell the owner what you feel, how it's going to work, and what the repercussions
so
potentially are.
Brutally honest.
You've got to be honest.
I mean,
I'd have
to
told
me,
him,
you've got to tell
you're going to kill yourself doing this. Like,
but,
do not make this
but
decision.
But Darragh, a sporting director that I know, or I didn't, and the others, they don't go and sign the paperwork. You can bring the player to the table, the agent, this is the deal, and it gets okayed. It'll be the CEO that signs off the paperwork.
Absolutely.
And he'll have a look for it. The FD will have a look for it to make sure we can afford the payments on time, etc.
Yeah.
Now, you've got to, that you are in a role to advise owners. If it's an Everton situation, you've got to advise them.
Of course.
You know, I think.
And your advice in that instance would be Benitez, no, don't do it.
We can't do it. You can't do it. I think wasn't it refreshing to see what Wolves did in January?
100%.
Oh yes.
To say we can't do it because we're not going to have a point deduction.
Just tell the truth.
Yeah. Just be honest.
I've always said that to owners. Tell the truth.
Supporters might not like it, but they will respect you.
it.
Of course they will.
In the 30 seconds we have left, and I want to do this, you've been so impressive. Where is next for you?
Well, currently working for a company called Finesse UK, which is a private equity investment banking with a guy called Dr. Binchanet Pentanek, who is looking to invest and buy football clubs in England and in Europe. We're currently in deep discussions with 3, and then we're going to head into Europe, and I'll be the global sporting director, which is very exciting.
Fantastic.
So let's see what that brings and which clubs we end up. But yeah, great people there, and looking forward to it.
Global sporting director. So you're turning that title down at Peterborough United.
Yeah. Listen, no one wants to replace Barry Fry.
Correct.
Good luck.
Good luck in the new
Luke,
gig, my man.
Thank you.
You will be back with us sooner than later. I assure you of that.
Thanks very much.
Thank you so much,
guys.
Luke Dowling with us for the last hour. Luke was in here for half an hour. But we thought, no, we're not letting this fella go. Darragh, you're back on Thursday with me.
Thursday, Friday.
As I understand it, tomorrow.
You tripled my fee, so I'm back.
Yes, little cosmic cocktail of Martin O'Neill and Danny Murphy, of course, it being a Wednesday. We're coming up to 1.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.